What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Don't mind my breathing. I just went up a giant hill to get here, and I just wiped out on some rocks. If you've been around a little while, you should recognize this. You should recognize it. There's wet leaves everywhere, so I may end up videoing my own fail episode. Plus I gotta pee. Excuse me a moment. What's sad about this area is, I wouldn't call it sad, because it's still used for many things, but this back area, evidently with all these fire pits and everything, used to be a place where families would go, spend the day, you know? Imagine that, no technology. Just go out into the woods for the day, burn up a few steaks, and just enjoy each other's time, you know? There's another one. And you know what? I bet you most people don't even know these are here. Because who really ventures back here except for teenagers who drink it, you know, during the weekend or whatever. But more importantly, there's something down here I really want to show you. I'm kind of scared to travel on these rocks. I just wiped out on a rock. Oh no. I'm going to turn this off real quick. And hopefully I won't film my own demise. Made it unscathed with nothing but leaves, tree leavings. It looks like we have a janitor sign of some sort over here. We're in this area called Mount Hood. Again, I've filmed here before, but there's a very specific reason why I'm coming over here now. And you know, I'm not really one for social commentary. Be sure to drive safe around here, as if your kids lived here. Teenagers will still be teenagers, I suppose. But this little area is pretty significant to my youth. And not because of hanging out, not for drinking, not for any of that. Oh, I'm gonna die right here. Look at this treacherous crap. Oh, I'll never get out of here if I do this. I'm going to take the long road home. And you'll notice I use the word home. And believe it or not, that actually has some meaning. I called this little area home for a little while. Now mind you, I was a teenager, okay? And I didn't like how things were going. And it may have been spoiled brat stuff. It may have been legit. But I lived here. Right in here. It looks like someone else has too for a little while. Little dolly. That's creepy. But yeah, I lived in that little space. And what's really cool is in the corner, there's like a natural chimney that goes up through there. So we got a couple of army blankets from the army surplus place and just put it right over here. And that's where I slept. That's where I lived. For, I don't know, what, a week or two? I can't remember. I genuinely can't remember. So, a lot of current events things have been weighing on my mind. We're all talking about the economy, and no one has money to do shit. You can't buy houses, you can't buy cars. No one's going to pay you what you're worth. Blah, 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 blah. And you know, I fall into those categories too, but I'm also under the category that there's a lot more of us than there are of them. And the fact that we've lost our way in standing up. Like in Canada, I heard that there was parking meters at hospitals. And I'm thinking to myself, if that entire town got together and pulled every one of those up, every time they put them up there, they can arrest them all, right? Maybe they'll get a hint. But the way things are going, I know so many people who are either homeless now or about to be. I'm one of those guys. And it's a combination of different things. It really is. Some of it's self-inflicted, I'm not going to lie. But a lot of it has to do with mental illness and child support. Now, I'm not complaining that I pay it. It's my kids. It's my obligation. But when it makes you homeless and you get far behind, and they double up your rearage, it doesn't matter how much you make. I can't even imagine not even having that, and people still struggling. And I see it every day. And yet we do nothing about it. And then I think of the time I lived here, and I was able to eat. It was warm enough out here during the summer. And I made a couple wildlife friends. But like stuff like this. And thinking about people having to do that. A necessity. Really, really hurts my heart. I just don't know if we're going to survive. I mean, there have been hard times in the past. But historically, it's never gotten this bad. And you know what? It's our fucking fault. I don't mean to drop F-bombs at this channel, but it's 100% our fault. We as Americans don't stand up. We get on here and we complain about it. We get on here and we make amazing points. We get on here and we argue with each other about it. Some people get up and they go in front of whoever, they speak their case. And because of stupid political stuff and usually one side trying to control the other side, it goes on deaf ears, ends up on Facebook or YouTube or Tickety Talk. People either agree with it or they don't, and that's as far as it ever goes. That stupid uprising at the Capitol, you know what, believe it or not, that was technically constitutionally protected under the Second Amendment rights. But they fucked up and did the wrong thing and acted like fucking idiots. We are allowed to stand up against the government if they become tyrannical. I don't know how people don't understand this. That's what the Second Amendment was all about. I don't want to hear about your thoughts on guns and all that stuff. I understand there's a lot of bullshit that surrounds it. And it aggravates me as somebody who is pro-weapon, though I do not own one. Because I don't feel, because of my mental health, I am stable enough to own one safely. But it literally says in there that you're allowed to hang on to things like that because should the government get to a point where it's unmanageable, uncontrollable, and they're constantly trying to yank rights away from you, your livelihood, your ability to even exist, you are allowed to take up arms and go against them. I know what you're going to say. We have the most powerful military in the world, and they'll follow orders. Well, we've gone up against pretty fucked up odds in the past and won. The United States is the United States of America because we took on England. A bunch of farmers with pitchforks and muskets. They said, no, this is not what we want to do. And they took over. It took a lot of bloodshed. It took a lot of heartbreak. You know, families got destroyed. Both good and bad, you know. And here we are, and I'm looking at everyone around me failing. Not to their fault. Including me. And nobody will do anything about it. I swear to Christ, if we all just got together and said, enough is a fucking enough. And we said, no, we're not doing that. They can't stop everybody. Remember when everyone wanted to raid Area 51? They can't stop us all. I mean, I know that was a goof, but I'm talking reality. I'm talking about the real world. I'm talking about people's lives. I'm not looking for handouts. I don't believe in socialism. Because historically, socialism has never worked. And if you start talking about countries that have it, their socialism is fueled by their capitalist economy. So I don't want to hear that. There's plenty of history showing nations that were doing just fine. Maybe a little impoverished, but for the most part, they were okay. But the socialism came and promised them everything they deserved. And now those places are in ruins, collapsed. I'm not really bitching. I'm more preaching, I suppose. I'm not asking for a call of action, because God forbid I do that and the fucking federal government comes after me. God forbid, you know? You remember that one dude with the bulldozer? He's a national hero. He's a national treasure. I'm not saying what he did was right. But it's a prime example of being pushed too far. The guy just wanted his own business. He just wanted a business. And the town fucked with him at all ends to the point where he had no other choice at that moment than to weld himself into a big heavy piece of machinery, take out the entire town, and then put a bullet in his own head. And all you want to do is fucking repair mufflers. Enough's enough. Where does it end? I don't want to be here anymore. And that's both the mental health and the state of our nation talking. The President of the United States is a useless piece of shit. You got things like Epstein Island, and the list supposedly came out. Where's the action? Well, Chris, there were so many important people on that list that it would completely destroy this nation. This nation can't get any more destroyed. And I promise you, if things go the way they go, we're going to eventually in a civil war. Editing Chris here. I'm actually waiting to see an orthopedic about wiping out while making that video. This is before I really got word of what's going on down in Texas. And it looks like my predictions were kind of true. We're like that close, honestly. 50% of the nation is already standing up. So everything I'm going to say from here on out is, I think, kind of happening. But I think we're too weak of a people to actually do it properly right now anyway. But only time will tell. Okay, back to whatever I was bitching about 2 days ago. And I don't think 90% of this country is ready for that. I mean, I'm not a trained vet, a soldier or anything. I never served in the military. I had a bad knee and they wouldn't let me in back then. I wanted to go into the Marines and become a state trooper. That's what I wanted to do. But my knee, and I got a girl pregnant my senior year. And I chose work. Chose going straight to work to provide for that kid. Instead of doing, service to my country. There's that word again. But I'm kind of glad I didn't, because look what's happening. Veterans are killing themselves every day, and I hear the horror stories about the VA. We can't even take care of the people who take care of us. These guys are literally out there dying so that I can make this fucking video and complain about it, You got this next generation, that I don't give a fuck generation. Well, the old TikToks and stuff, I don't know. Am I any different? I guess not. I don't know what to do anymore. I mean, you know what's worse? My pride and my will have been broken to the point where even if I did know, I don't think I'd fucking do it anyway. I don't think I'd fucking do it anyway. Hope you're doing well. Because I can't imagine anyone who is. If you are, good for you. Good for you. I genuinely mean that, not even facetiously. But the way I see it, in the environments I'm around, hardly anybody is doing fucking well. And it's kind of crazy to think that people can work as hard as they do. Again, not looking for handouts. Not telling people that the government paying for everything. I'm not into socialism. It doesn't work. It's a fantastic idea, but it's in execution. It has never worked, ever. It has always failed, and there is always dictatorship behind it. Always, every time, 100%. You can check that out. Unless, of course, there's a capitalist environment behind it. So, I don't know what else to say. I really don't. And I don't even know if I'm going to upload this. Because I can only imagine what's going to come of it. I don't know. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. Maybe we'll fucking wake up. Maybe we'll say enough is enough. Maybe we'll say enough is enough. And maybe we can be like those farmers with pitchforks and muskets and overcome incredible odds. Because I honestly believe that once it pops off, if it were to pop off, I'm not a doomsday guy. I don't think our military will continue to engage. In fact, I have a feeling that a lot of them will stand with us because of how they're treated. You know, they go off and do incredible things that you couldn't even imagine, things you'll never get out of your head. They come back with sicknesses and mental illness, and sometimes they don't come back whole. And in a lot of cases, they don't come back unless they're in a box. So I think if the right people were doing the right thing to try to get the right thing situated, I think they would stand with us. I don't know. I mean, you can comment if you want. I may or may not read it. I may or may not respond if I do. I just don't see the point in it anymore. I don't. It's not a suicide letter. I'm not trying to pull that shit. But I don't see the point anymore. And when you come to an area like this that is so pretty, or at least used to be, until progress, I don't know if you can see that, but they're mining for something over there. And you can't find peace. I used to go to the woods to find peace. And you can't even find that in the woods. I suppose all hope is lost.